Hey, how's it going? This is your boy Enoch, and in this video what I want to talk about is designing images with text overlays. Now, this is a common pattern that you see on websites and web applications where you got images in the background and some kind of text in front of it. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is because currently at my job, I started doing some usability testing, and there's this pattern and this issue that I come across where some users, they find it hard to read certain text because of the image in the background. It makes it hard to contrast. So in this video, we're going to walk through different techniques, different approaches that you can apply to your web designs so you can avoid this mistake. All right, let's take a look. So the first technique is using a photograph with white space. What that means, here's an example where there's this delicious recipe image used in the background. So in this case, the subject, the vegetable, is put on the right hand side of the image, leaving this empty space, or better yet, white space, so that the text can fall on top of. You could do it either way, to the left side, to the right side, centered, however, but you have to craft the photograph in order for it to properly display for your text and for it to be readable. The problem I find here is that when it comes to responsive design, there could be some kind of a readability issue where, let's say, the white text can overlap with the white garlic here in this image, and that leads me to another solution, is adding a dark overlay. So we're going to take a look at this. So with this dark overlay, you basically allow the text to be even more readable. There's higher contrast. And if you want to take it a notch and make it a stronger contrast against the image, you add a blur. So in this case, you can see this sample here. I've added this Gaussian blur to my sketch file. That makes the text even more readable. And the focus is on the content, not the image. The next technique is adding a colored overlay on top of the image. So in this case, I have some kind of a baby blue kind of image. Now, the color, that would depend on the brand of the website that you're building for, or the app, etc. Now, it is wise to maybe add some kind of a darker overlay or something that can add some kind of contrast to the image. So in this case, I just bring down the opacity, and that could also work. All right, so moving on, this next one is the gradient fade overlay. The idea being that you have this fading gradient. In this case, I have it going from left to right, darker on the left hand side because that's where the text is going to go on top of. So you definitely want that high contrast. Here's another example of this gradient fade going from the bottom of the image and the text at the bottom. Now, let's say, for example, if you have some kind of a gallery and each of those thumbnails, maybe they have a hover state and you want the text to reveal, but only on the hover state. This can be a clever solution. We can see those on like blog websites, media elements, articles, news websites, and even mobile apps. I started to see this pattern also, and it's very effective where the text doesn't get in the way with the image. And last but not least, this is the gradient color overlay. Actually, this is one of my favorite ones because it makes the design look really good. It's very modern, techy. I'm sure you've seen this pattern across like many like tech websites. And let's see how we break it down. So the way this is done is through this gradient color overlay on top of a grayscaled image. So there's like a 50% opacity put on this grayscale image, and then you put that gradient overlay on top of it. There you go. You can make it whatever colors and it still looks good. So now that we just went through all these different solutions on adding images and text overlays, let's look at areas in which maybe that's not a right solution. Maybe this is not the right pattern to add to your website, to your mobile app. So let's take a look here. Basically, we have this kind of a app mock-up here where you can select a category, and the way this is displayed is through having an image and that text overlay. The problem is that, let's say for example, you're in an enterprise level company and you have a lot of people managing these websites, and they upload images, they upload content. This happens in like large companies, and the problem is that not everybody is a designer. They don't understand. They might not have the discipline to choosing the right image and putting it together with the right text. So now this becomes a problem, and it's up to us UI UX designers to figure out which is the right UI pattern to solve for this, so that the end user can be able to like consume and read the content, and they don't have to go through this issue. So I've made this other mock here where basically I separate the text from the image, putting the text in the bottom of it. You can see here, that's usually the way Spotify does it, Instagram, Facebook, all these kind of like card style UI pattern. I think this is also something that you can see in different media elements, material design. So you necessarily don't have to add text on top of an image. You can separate it out, and it solves for all your usability and readability issues. All right, so there you have it. I hope you found this video very informational, very useful. Make sure you leave a comment. I want to see what you have to say so we can interact. Very curious to hear your opinion on this. That's it. Have a good one. Peace.